All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Chicago Bears defensive end Austin Booker. Booker has gotten more playing time over the last couple weeks, and guys, he has stepped up in a big way. The Bears have a young breakout star in Booker, and he had an awesome performance in the Chicago Bears' most recent victory, and we'll break down everything he did so well. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's get started with the one-on-one pass rush, and there's Booker right there on the left side of your screen, and he's going to be one-on-one on the left tackle right here for the Minnesota Vikings. And guys, this may be the play of the year by any defensive end the entire season up to this point. It's an awesome play. Just good old-fashioned speed to power and literally perfection speed to power. Minnesota Vikings leave their left tackle, and that's a good player, number 71, one-on-one on Austin Booker, and Booker just annihilates him. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pressure. Incomplete pass. Guys, look at this. I'll get to the technical stuff in a second, but my goodness gracious, just watch what Booker does to a really good left tackle on this play. Puts him on his back and just decleats the quarterback. This is as good as it gets. It literally cannot be better than this. This is absolutely awesome. You talk about perfect speed to power, guys. This is what you're talking about. Threaten up the field with speed, get the left tackle on his heels, they'll drive through his chest, put him in the dirt, hit the quarterback in the midsection. Perfect pressure, incomplete pass. And it's a big moment, right? At midfield, if they get a first down, they're probably going to get at least 3 points. You get an incomplete pass here, you force a punt. Big moment in the game, right? Big third down. That's when pass rushers have to come alive. And Booker does it right here. Again, he showed flashes of this his rookie year, right? A little bit of an opportunities earlier in the season, but he is coming along, guys. Very quickly emerging as a superstar. When the Bears drafted him, a lot of people said developmental guy. Once he gets everything figured out, he'll be a stud. And I tell you what, guys, when you watch plays like this, and my goodness gracious, I could watch this all day. I could literally run this play probably 20 minutes and call it a film review. This is just so good. Phenomenal rep by Booker. He's breaking out as a star. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Booker right there in the middle of your screen. Again, one-on-one on the left tackle. Just watch this play. I mean, that's just perfect. Little worried there at the end that maybe the refs would be a little too over-efficient and try and flag him for roughing the passer. But I think it's a clean hit, right? He hits him in the midsection, doesn't hit him high, doesn't hit him low, drops him on the ground, right? I think it's a good no call by the refs, right? Partly because it's such a good play. You can see how he threatens the left tackle with speed right there, then takes his inside hand and just throws him to the ground like it's nothing. I mean, that's totally awesome here from Austin Booker. It literally can't be done any better. You see how he uses his left hand, that inside hand right there, to strike the offensive tackle in the chest? That's how strong this Joker is. Just one hand, one arm, and he can send a really good left tackle flying, and then the finish to boot. This is an awesome rep for the young defensive end. All right, let's get into some run defense, and there's Booker right here. Line up in a 7 technique on the outside shoulder of the tight end right there for the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be a power concept for Minnesota. We're going to get a double team right here, working over to the backside linebacker. Tight end's going to crash down inside, working over to the backside linebacker as well. Center's going to block back. The guard's going to pull for Booker, and they're going to take the tight end H-back over here, and he's going to lead around this direction, picking up the play side linebacker or whoever fills in this gap, whoever shows first. And this is a situation where Booker is taught, when this tight end works this direction, to hug him down inside. Now, as a defensive end goes inside, they teach these guards to try and ramp the defensive end and try and pin him into the trash. The running back will then bounce around it. But Booker does a good job as he works down inside, laying the block of the guard, makes a miss, and then blows up the play and makes a tackle. Phenomenal rep from the rookie. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the handoff. There's Booker to make the play. Great rep. All right, let's break this down. All right, you can see the double team inside, the tight end working up to the next level. You can see the guard pulling, the tight end coming around on the backside. And you can see Booker. See how he falls 84 inside? That's what he's taught to do. The guard then tries to wrap him, but he lays him and makes a tackle. Really nice job here from number 94. Again, he's doing his assignment, crashing down. I'm assuming that's what he's supposed to do. It makes sense, right? You're the defensive end. You're following the tight end inside. The one concern that potentially is he turns his shoulders a little bit right there. You don't love that. You'd love to be in a perfect world, perfectly square. But guess what? When you're this kind of an athlete and you can make offensive linemen miss like that and then make the play, you let a lot of things go, right? And this is a really good job, once again, by Booker at the point of attack, beating a guard on the pull, making the tackle. Nice rep. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Booker right there at the bottom of your screen. You're going to see the tight end in motion pre-snap. Tight end goes down. He follows him, olays the guard, makes a tackle. Nice play. You know, it's not always going to be perfect, and listen, not every play is going to be perfect, but there's a lot of highlight plays right here from Austin Booker, and really over the course of the entire game, really over the course of the past couple games, he's gotten better and better, where there's a lot to really be excited about. Now it's about consistency for this young defensive end. Whether it's in pass rush, like we showed on the first play, or run defense, like we show here, he has the ability to be a dominant player for the Chicago Bears. And he has moments where he certainly is dominant. Now it's about stacking it together, and plays like this give me a lot of optimism that he could eventually become that kind of player. All right, going back to the pass rush, and there's Booker right there on the left side of your screen. So this is going to be a play action concept here for the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to fake the handoff this direction. The quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, is going to settle up in the middle of the pocket. And it's going to be kind of a zone cell here on the play side. We're going to get a base reach there. Left guard's going to come over to try and help. Center's going to base that defensive tackle. And it's basically going to be 2-on-1. Austin Booker's going to read the run initially, see that it's pass. He's going to beat number 71 before the guard comes to pick him up. But even though he gets double teamed, he still delivers an impact on this guard. Guys, you're going to watch what happens to 74 when he runs into number 94. Again, showcasing Booker's ability. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Play action. Quarterback has time, climbs the pocket, tries to hit his man. Incomplete pass. All right, let's look at Booker right here on the play side right there. Defensive end on your left. We go all the way back to the very beginning. All right, there it is. Fires onto the tackle. He reads run initially, sees that it's pass, beats number 71, launches himself into left guard. See how the left guard goes flying backwards? My goodness gracious. Look at 74 right here. Whoa. Right? That's Austin Booker's strength and power. Now, look, I don't necessarily know if I'm a fan of the technique right here, just basically throwing your body. I mean, I don't know what that pass rush technique is, but it does force the guard back into the quarterback's lap. Maybe this is part of the reason J.J. McCarthy missed the throw. I mean, you think probably a little bit. But this is Austin Booker's just freakish athleticism. Reads run, beats the left tackle, and then blows through the left guard. I mean, he's got strength and leverage and power just out the wazoo, explosiveness, you name it. Number 94's got it in spades. Now it's about, again, becoming more consistent, leveraging that incredible set of athletic gifts to be an every down stud. He can do it, and against the Minnesota Vikings, he had a really nice day. Now it's about stacking games, stacking reps, and I think Booker will very quickly become a legit superstar. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Booker right there at the bottom of your screen. You can see the man in motion. There's a snap. He reads run, beats the tackle, works inside. Again, he's got 2-on-1. Anytime right there you got a defensive end, you got a guard and a tackle on you, you're opening up one-on-one opportunities for other players, obviously. So drawing a double team, never a bad thing for your defense because you're helping your buddies out, and that's obviously a big part of it. But even with the double team, he still makes a little dent in the pass protection, right? Beats the left tackle, throws his body through the left guard right there, pocket collapsing a little bit. Would like a little bit more pass rush from some of the other Chicago Bears defenders, but Austin Booker, again, technically, I don't know what that body position is in terms of launching himself into the guard, but he beats a left tackle and gets a little bit of pocket push despite being double teamed. Not bad, but again, it's about being consistent, being a little bit more under control. That's one thing I want to see from Booker going forward. All right, let's go with some play side run defense, and there's Booker right there lined up in, I'll call that a 6-eye technique, or maybe you'll call that a wide 5 technique, but regardless, he's a defensive end right there for the Bears on the right side of your screen, and they're going to bring this fullback in motion. He's going to settle up here, and he's going to lead through the hole just like this, and it's going to be an inside zone concept for the rest of the offensive line. We're going to get a base reach here, base reach there, zone double team there, backside scoop, backside scoop, backside scoop, and the running back is just going to try and hit this hole right here. It's just an old school kind of lead concept that a lot of teams used to run. You don't see it quite as much anymore, but it still exists in the National Football League, of course. I want you guys to watch Austin Booker. His number one responsibility in the situation is to set the edge, make sure the running back has to cut back. He does that, but he also beats number 71 cleanly at the same time. I mean, again, this is the flashes of greatness we're starting to see. Let's check it out. All right, there's the motion. I'm going to settle up at the fullback position. There's a snap. There's the handoff. Has to cut it back. Good defense. All right, let's look at Austin Booker at the defensive end position right here on the right side of your screen. So he sets the edge right there with good hand placement. Beats a tackle too. Beats him cleanly. Nice rep. Look at this. Shock and shed. Shock, shed. I guarantee if the running back didn't cut back further inside, Austin Booker would have been there for a tackle for loss. And this is sometimes what happens with defensive players. They may not end up on the stat sheet with TFLs or sacks or things like that, but they impact the game by forcing the running back or other players to run away from them, right? And at any time in this situation, if you look at the strength of the Bears defense right now, just looking at the bodies, they've got 4 bodies over here on the left side of your screen to the left of that hash. They got 3 over here to the right, just by the current structure. So right here, by forcing the running back back to where all those bodies are and another guy flying in, it basically destroys the entire running play. And this is what you get when you have a destructive force of nature like Austin Booker emerging. He can completely annihilate an entire team's game plan. Great job once again by 94. All right, for the wide copy, we get the motion from the fullback right there. There's the handoff. Running back has to cut back. Defense is there for the minimal gain. Look at Booker's technique right here at the point of attack. Fires off, face mask to face mask, extension, shed, and he's right there to make the tackle for loss if the running back would have followed his fullback. You can see There's the fullback, and there's Booker. Running back forced to cut back. Again, you can see all the Chicago Bears help coming from the backside, and there they are to make the play. Team defense matters. Even though Booker doesn't end up on the stat sheet for this one, it's a really, really good play. And this is beating, again, a really good left tackle, a veteran left tackle. And it's one of those things we're starting to see from Booker more and more. Earlier on in his career, there would be maybe one play a game where it was like, wow. Now we're seeing about 6. Now we're seeing about 8. Now we're seeing about 9. And his wow plays are becoming more and more wow. Right here, he's beating the left tackle really cleanly. I mean, that's a really nice rep, technically speaking. Maintains the edge of the defense, shock, shed, in a position to make the play, forces the cutback. Nice job from 94. All right, how about a high-effort play from Austin Booker? And there he is right there on the right side of your screen. So the Minnesota Vikings are going to bring their wide receiver in motion pre-snap right here to try and get flow from the linebackers or safety that direction. And it's going to be an outside stretch zone concept working that way. But the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, is going to read the defensive end, or at least act like he is. And right here, Booker's job is to hold right here his ground to make sure the quarterback doesn't out-leverage him. That's his assignment. He's got to maintain, contain, and take the quarterback just in case the quarterback pulls the ball off the handoff and tries to attack the right side of your screen right there. Booker does his job, but then he puts his foot in the ground and hustles all the way down the line of scrimmage to make the tackle on the running back. I love the effort. Let's check it out. There's the motion. There's the snap. There's the handoff. Running back has a hole, makes a man miss, and there's Booker to get him down. Nice play. If we go all the way back to the beginning here, you can see Austin Booker. He's watching the quarterback. He's got his eye on the quarterback. He's got to make sure it's not a pull read where the quarterback has pulled the ball from the running back and he's got the outside. Once he recognizes that, he puts his foot in the ground, hustles, lays out, makes a play. I love the effort here. Now, again, in a perfect world, one thing, maybe wrap up instead of just throwing your shoulder in there. But I love the effort. I love the physicality. And you can see the Minnesota Vikings, they do a pretty good job here, right? They get 99 on the ground right there. He gets pancaked. That's not great. There's bodies flying all over the place. They make 44 miss in the hole. This has a chance to be a decent little play right here for the Minnesota Vikings. But guys like Austin Booker hustling down the line of scrimmage, making the tackle. Again, winning effort, guys. That's a huge part of why the Bears right now sit atop their division and why I think they're a serious threat in the NFC. But you also got to do assignment football, because right here, if Booker just flies down the line of scrimmage, they will pull the ball the next play and gash the Bears defense. But because he does his assignment, checks the quarterback there, before he reacts and hustles, it forces the Minnesota Vikings and future teams to have to actually really execute at every level. They can't just rely on the Bears making mistakes. They have to out-execute them. And right now, because of effort and talent, like we see from 94, no one is out-executing the Bears, and they've got a lot of momentum. All right, from the wide copy, get a really good look at Booker right there at the top of your screen. Watch how he plays the quarterback first, now puts his foot in the ground, hustles down the line of scrimmage, and boom, nice hit. Limiting the damage, right? That's a big part of effort plays. You never know when fumbles are going to happen. One of the reasons the Bears defense, I think, gets so many takeaways is because they all hustle to the football. They're all trying to punch the ball out. They're all trying to get tips and overthrows and things like that. When you play with consistent effort to a man on defense, good things happen, just like we see here. Great effort from Booker. Again, does his assignment first, right? If I go all the way back to the beginning, checking the quarterback, sees it's a handoff. Now he hustles, avoids the traffic, makes a tackle. Nice play. All right, quick break in the film review. Look, I was taught to break down film by my college coaches at the Division I level. All the players are. It's just a fact of playing football at that level. And I want to take this opportunity to give you guys, the average fan, more opportunities to get that insider knowledge of how the game is taught at that highest level of college football. I created a checklist, a step-by-step guide for you guys, 100% free. That's based on how I was taught to break down film by my coaches, and then I use today to create these film reviews. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you right to it. I really appreciate it if you guys decide to get it. Again, 100% free, just trying to share information to you guys, stuff that was taught to me by my coaches. But without further ado, let's get back into the film. All right, this next play is one of the more underrated plays I saw from Austin Booker all game long. And there he is right there on the left side of your screen, lined up in a 7 technique on the outside shoulder of the tight end right there. And it's going to be an inside zone concept working in this direction. The Minnesota Vikings are going to bring a wide receiver here in motion pre-snap, but it's basic zone responsibilities. We're going to get a base reach here. We're going to get a zone double team here, working up to the next level. We're going to get scoops on the backside. We're going to get a tight scoop here and a wide scoop here. Running back's just going to take this track and try and find a cutback wherever he can, whether it's through this hole, whether it's this way up the hash, right? Wherever you can find a hole, standard zone scheme stuff. So what the tight end does here on the backside is a tight scoop. He's going to work vertical to keep Austin Booker wide before working up to the next level, whether it's a backside safety or a corner flowing over the top. But this is a situation where the Minnesota Vikings and pretty much every offensive team, by alignment, they say, if I have a tight end over here and I have him basically run straight up the field, if Booker runs around this block, there's no way he can make the tackle, right? Because we're just going to hand it off inside. By the time he gets there, the running back's going to be well past him, not even close. But this is where Austin Booker's freakish athleticism comes into into play. He goes around the block and still makes a tackle to boot. It's a phenomenal rep. Let's check it out. Little pre-snap motion. There's a snap. There's the inside scheme. And there's Booker, part of the tackle. Right, if you look on the backside here, Hawkinson sticks his hand out, works up to the next level. Booker gets his foot in the ground right here, hustles down the line of scrimmage with full speed, and is part of the tackle. Nice rep. Now, in total fairness, the Chicago Bears had two other guys there, I should say. So it's not like Booker was the one-man wrecking crew here. But I tell you what, there's no team in the NFL that can account for this kind of effort and speed off the backside in terms of the structure of their defense. I mean, this is special stuff. This is Max Crosby kind of stuff right here. This is Garrett kind of stuff for the Cleveland Browns. I'm not saying Booker's at their level yet, but he is getting closer and closer, and plays like this showcase why. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Booker right there at the bottom of your screen. Watch him get around 87, put his foot in the ground, hustle, and be part of the tackle. Again, it's an underrated play, right? Didn't make the highlight film plays. He wasn't even credited for a tackle or an assisted tackle on the stat sheet. But this is the kind of play that teams can't account for. And defensive players that can break the offensive theory of operation. Again, the theory for the Minnesota Vikings and a lot of teams is if we have a tight end on the backside, we widen out the defensive end and we just run straight up the field. There's no way the defensive end can run around the block and then put his foot in the ground and make the play. Booker does here. Phenomenal job. All right, let's talk about the effect Austin Booker is having on this defense as a whole. So obviously we showcased Booker beating number 71 earlier, and we got another double team action right here. Left guard come over to help Booker right here in a little play action concept. They're going to send 30 in motion, pre-snap this direction, and it's going to be a passing play down the middle of the field. But because there's so much attention on Booker, number 50 is actually able to loop around and get pressure on the quarterback. The edge rusher one-on-one actually does a pretty good job here on the backside. McCarthy has to force it in coverage, and it's intercepted, right? This is the Austin Booker effect becoming alive and well, having another good pass rusher. Let's check it out. There's the motion. There's the snap. Play action. Here comes the pressure. Quarterback tries to force it downfield, and it's intercepted. And there's the big return. You can see going all the way back to the beginning here, how many guys are on Austin Booker? You got 1-2 guys on Booker, right? That's not ideal because no one's really on 50 until he gets to the quarterback. And you can see initially off the rip, look at the left guard for the Minnesota Vikings. He's on 50. He's on him right there. But look where his eyes are. He moves right to Booker. Now, part of that is that's because the scheme of the offensive protection, right? They're sliding to their left, as you can see there. But he is much more focused on helping out his left tackle on Austin Booker than he is staying on number 50. So what happens? 50 goes pretty much unblocked, loops around, gets a hit on the quarterback, forces the errant throw, poor decision, and it's intercepted. This is what having a dominant pass rusher emerging does to an opposition, right? They have to account for him all the time. They have to put 2 guys on him. They have to have all eyes on him. Just the imagination of Booker embarrassing number 71 again, has 74 sliding over there, leaving 50 unblocked before he should. Again, you're supposed to hand off these guys, right? You can see how these guys inside are handing off. They got hands on them before they let him go. That's how it's supposed to be done. But because 74 is so worried about helping his buddy against Booker, he lets 50 go pretty much untouched, gets pressure on the quarterback, and he gets the interception. This is the effect of Austin Booker. And again, it's got to be more consistent from 94, but when you watch his film, when you watch his game, whether it's in pass rush, run defense, backside, play side, he's very quickly emerging as a superstar, and he's having a massive positive impact on this Bears defense.